So that's one thing that has changed. We're gonna quickly check the tyres. Some drivers, yeah. So a few drivers now pitted. Links onto hard, Viking, Bolt, Frenchy all on hard as well. Warren on mediums again. And Hazer also pitting for another set of medium tyres. So the Burden deck, P1, P2 still. Destroyer Jack P3, Mr. Poem P4, Merc in P5, Lynx P6, Baker Gaming P7. So that's the other battle right now. But Viking Fox is directly behind him. Penalty situation is a little bit more as well. Viking Gaming is making a move now on Bakey, and he has got it done. So up the order he goes. Just making sure that's good. Right, let's see then. Baker Gaming losing out in the end to Viking, as you'd expect on the older tyres, of course, yet to pit. Let's get the pit stop situation up. There you go. Hazer's pitted twice. Did he try and replace his wing, but it didn't replace it? I do just wonder that if that's the reason why Hazer has boxed twice in this race. No signs that we've had a safety car, but the gaps large they are. We're also going to get the lap data and the track map up so we can see exactly where everyone is as Baker Gaming heads into the pits, whilst Destroyer Jack exits out of the pits. It's one board hill. That was a very close piece of action there between Jack and the Viking. Viking Fox can have a look down the inside this time into the S's, but does stay in behind. Baker Gaming will come out of the pits behind Frenchy and not too far ahead of Hazer by the looks of things. Hazer is going to go again into the pits. What's happening to Hazer here? Hazer's pitting now for hard tyres. It's now replacing his wing. Did he try to pit the first two times and it didn't replace his front wing? That is highly unusual for Hazer, but that is seemingly what happened. It's the only thing I can presume there. Like, he has tried to pit on 2 occasions and it has not changed the wing, and all of a sudden he's not miles away from being lapped here. The Bird and Deck following each other in. Deck knows he cannot really afford to do an overcut, so therefore he's going to pit and he's going to go for the mediums. The Bird is on to hards. Lynx Peace with the fastest lap of the race, and they're going to be close together here. And here we go, a battle for the lead is on. And all of a sudden, the Bird, then Lynx, then Deck, this could be perfect for the Bird, because now Deck, as you can see, is going to lose a lot of time. He can't take too many risks. He just probably has to settle for the DRS, knowing Lynx Piece is going to drop in the battery and try and hold. I mean, that's a bit too much, is it not? Is that a bit too much from Lynx there? Holding it, trying to hold him up as much as that? That's iffy, that's iffy. Lap 19 could very well be having a look at from Lynx there, especially there. That corner did look very, very close, let's just say that. But either way, Deck will get through, and now can he get himself close enough to the Bird? Don't forget he's on mediums, the Bird is on hards, so it will make things a little bit more difficult for the Bird to pull away, given Deck's on the quicker tyre. But the Bird has looked quick in this race so far, as he does normally anyways, but in this race he has managed to pull from that qualifying band from P12 up the order into effectively net P1. But the Deck is now pushing, and as you can see he's burning our battery, and guess what? Yes, he has got himself within 1 second of the Bird. So all of a sudden it has begun, and they are back together once again. So we've got Merc, Destroyer, Jack, and also Viking. But here comes Jack down the inside, and he will get through on Merc as well. Viking Fox then also has a look on the inside. Just couldn't quite get through. Merc yet to pit in this race, and now has a battle with Viking Fox. And Viking does get through, or does he? Yes, he does. So Viking Fox now ahead of Mark, and he's down into P7 now in the Williams. A bit slippery as well out of the S's, but again, yet to pit, so you would expect that. Mr. Poem still out on track then in the Alpine. The Bird and Deck not too far behind Mr. Poem now. So the situation, at least for Rusty Bolt, he's now got 3 drivers who have already pitted behind him, and that is Epic Frenchie, Fake Gaming and Hazer. He has the net position over Merc as well. So that's another place, that's effectively P8 for Bolt. After that, yes, it's a little bit more difficult. The reason why it's a little bit more difficult, really, is quite simply, it's just going to be in a position when Mr. Poem pits, I think Mr. Poem will still be ahead. Could be quite close between them though. Let's go away from the direct POV. Drac fast lap 36.5 on the hard as well. Good lap there from Destroyer Drac. But let's see then, as we continue on to lap 21 now, that penalty for Poem, Mark, Epic Frenchie and Bakey Gaming. And the penalty situation stands 3 seconds for all bar Bakey with 6 seconds in total. So can Deck now find his way through on the bird? And don't forget, they will probably catch Mr. Poem. When is Mr. Poem going to pit? And is he on for a one-stop strategy in this race? Might be. He might be on a one-stopper here. I do just wonder if Mark is also going to go for a one-stop. Deck. An interesting little swing off the wheel there. But either way, he does stay in behind. Viking Fox then does go for the move on Drac. Down the inside. Drac in the end avoiding any contact and stays in behind. Let's go back towards the bird and Deck meanwhile, as Viking just made that move on Destroyer Drac. And looking at the timing screen, the bird is really closing now on Mr. Poem. 1.5 seconds behind. He will not get DRS into turn 1, but he will certainly get DRS into turn 12, which is down the back straight. And now the bird, is he going to lose out to Deck? Is Deck going to go for the place? No, he doesn't. Stays in behind. So he's deciding, I'm going to hang in there. Warner, let's go back towards Warner just quickly. And Warner there down the inside of Mark does get through. Is he going to go too deep into the corner? Not quite. He does stay nicely, and it is a position gained. As now the bird is through, and Deck also looking to go through. Doesn't quite get it. Mr. Poem though, and Deck will both get DRS from the bird now. So again, you have to wonder, has the bird played this right? Mr. Poem goes off! Deck 3-second penalty, Mr. Poem almost spinning the car there. And Deck luckily still has DRS, but Mr. Poem also has DRS, but he would have lost a lot of time there. Is he still thinking about the one stop? And if he is, surely he has to think about pitting now. Meanwhile, the bird has hung on to that spot whilst Drac down the inside on Viking Fox. Doing the opposite effectively from the previous lap where Viking did make the move on Drac, and now all of a sudden Drac finds his way through and back up the order into the top 5 goes Drac, what is now a net 4th place. Back up with the front 2 once again. Rusty Bolt still, he's in no man's land in this race, I have to say, for Rusty Bolt. Not applying any pressure to the cars ahead and losing time. Oh, not losing time. He's still gaining on those behind, and that's the problem. He's gaining on those behind, but he's not pulling in the cars in front. And into the pits does go Mr. Poem. And Mr. Poem now opting for the soft compound tyre. As far as I'm aware, the soft tyres aren't particularly great at this circuit, even in 100%. And I'm going based on the fact that the Creator Series did the USA very recently, I believe, actually. possibly even like last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? They raced at this very circuit, and the soft tyres only did a few laps. So, not a few laps, but they were only good for a few laps. Although, one other good thing was the race winner did go on to use the soft tyres in that race. And I think he used the soft tyres at a stage where everybody else was on a different tyre, which would have been the mediums, because they don't run the hard tyres there. So the race winner in that race, yeah, they did go softs when everybody else went mediums. Interesting. So for Mr. Poem, it's a risky one. Soft tyres, how long will they go for? I mean, they will be quick for the first maybe 4 or 5 laps, and all of a sudden it will balance out, and the tyre wear will begin to kick in, I think, for Mr. Poem. So it's a 2-stopper. Of course, he's not going to go anywhere near taking those to the end as Deck down the inside on the bird and back up into P1. Yeah, it certainly does look like it will be a 2-stop pit strategy for pretty much the whole field. The only one who you could debate go to a 1-stop could be Mark in P7, but he will drop down behind Epic Frenchy, possibly behind Baker Gaming as well once he pits. On here with a sequence of tier 2 drivers. We've got Destroyer Jack, we've got Viking Fox, and you've got Warrener, again newly promoted recently, and he is currently in P6. And you've got Mark Bolt with Mr. Poem as well. A bit wide, there goes Viking Fox. It will cost him a little bit of time, but again, you do expect him to fly straight past Jack. Speaking of flying straight past, is the bird going to go through on Deck? No. And the bird does remain in P2 now. Jack also does hold on ahead of Viking Fox, and further down Mr. Poem and Rusted Bolt, and Mark in there as well. Mark maybe just losing the pair of them. Yes, he does. He allows his teammate through, and Rusted Bolt now up into P8. Mr. Poem up into P7, so he does make the double overtake. Now, Purple also through the middle sector. Is he going to go for that fastest lap then for Mr. Poem? Maybe ensure that Summerhead can't quite take it. Possibly is. Deck 136.2, but I do get the impression that lap will not stay as the fastest lap. I think Mr. Poem is going to take it away here, although Deck and the bird are close together. Hazer with a 3 seconds. He is having a pretty shambolic race, isn't it, for Hazer? Mr. Poem 35.0, and that is the fastest lap of the race so far. Let's go back up the order now. Here we are with Deck and the bird. But yeah, still waiting on Mark to make that pit stop. 1.5 seconds back to Bolt, 5 seconds to Epic Frenchy as well. So really, Mark may just be thinking in his mind, what can he do to make a difference in this race? Maybe just go for the 1-stop to hards, but you can see where he is right now. He's not in a good position as the bird gets through on Deck into turn 12 and back up into P1. Then we've got here Destroyer Jack with Viking Steel, but they are now both in DRS range of Link. So we can look back at the tyre situation, see exactly where the undercuts are performed. So we've got Deck and the bird obviously pitted on the same lap. Link's on 4 lap older tyres. Jack went 1 lap longer than the 2 at the front, but he's got fresh tyres on Link's. Viking has got 1 lap fresher than Link's, 2 laps worse than Jack. Warrener 9 laps on his mediums. Of course, Poem just recently pitted for softs. Bolt 9 laps on the hards. Mark all the way on the mediums. Frenchy, Bakey and Hazer only just beginning to get into double digits on their tyres as well. Yellow flags, Mark is out as a safety car. A full course safety car. Mark is out of the race, and I get the feeling that this man here, Rusted Bolt, will be loving a safety car. This is almost perfect for him. He's been out of the race ever since lap 1, turn 1 really. And now, all of a sudden, he has an opportunity to get back into the race. And also, you could argue now, have we got a new favourite to win this race. Deck, do not forget, can now pit for hard tyres, as can Warrener, as can other drivers as well. If you've not run the hard tyres yet, you can now run hard tyres to the end for 30 laps. Deck could be in an exceptional position here to possibly get a win, but with a penalty on board, it's got 3 seconds. That is what could be his sticking point here. You are expecting near enough everybody to pit. Hazer stays out, which is smart. Hazer staying out is smart. The reason why, if he had pitted there, he could have been at risk of being lapped. The driver who would not be happy with that safety car would have been Mr. Poem, having just pitted for softs. Does he have to chuck those softs out of the window, or does he decide, I'm going to hang it out on these softs and try and do something different? He might go for hards to the end now, to be fair, Mr. Poem. As Deck pits, and the bird stays out. The bird stays out on his older hard tyres. Deck and Jack are in. Lynx also decide to stay out. The Kick Saubers are going longer. Viking Fox stays out as well, and this could be a bit of a buffer that the two Kick Saubers need. But Deck is going to come out in P4 on fresh hard, although he very nearly crossed the white line. And I would have been honest, if he had crossed that white line fully, he would likely have got like a 5-second penalty, and there was no chance that would have been appealed, because you're not going to get an appeal successful for crossing the white line when the game gives you a penalty. Let's be real here. So yeah, bit of a sticking point though for Kick Sauber now. The Bird, Lynx, Viking, all in all, older hard tyres. Yes, they are. And then Deck on the fresh hards. Yeah, Deck's got to be in prime position here for the win still. Now we can go to the end as well. Whereas for the Bird, he's surely going to box for, say, a set of mediums in this race, right? He's not going to go to the end on these hard tyres. They're going to be 8 laps older than Deck. This really has opened the window now. And with neither Kick Sauber pitting, this is problematic, I feel. For the Bird's championship chances, he needs to get a victory, drop 2 places to P3, and go into next week with the best opportunity. That's what he needs to do, and again he needs to avoid that final penalty point. You do question, did he have an incident lap 1 turn 1 with Rusty Bolt, because something did happen to Bolt, and we do know, something that we definitely know, is that the Bird did go down the inside. Again, we don't know if there was any contact between them, but there you go. But let's see, is anything here going to occur between like the Bird, between Deck, between Drac, Mr. Poem, all on the fresher tyres versus Deck and versus the Bird and Lynx in particular, but also Viking on the older tyres. Glad for that safety car. I can't believe the game set me out with another set of mediums. What a strategy call! You could argue that was a cracking strategy call in the end though. To be out now on the hard tyres where you can go, guess what? Yes, to the end of the race. Whereas the Bird possibly not having the same luxury. That's interesting though, that it was an error. But there are quite a few drivers who did decide to pit for the medium tyres for a second time, and I don't know if that was a game issue or if that was just a pit stop issue where you didn't select the right tyre or what. I don't know exactly, but maybe you did confirm you were going to pit. Maybe you had preset medium to medium start. I don't know. I don't know if you'd preset anything or whatever, but yeah. The mediums will struggle to the end, I reckon. Yeah, I agree. I think right now you are in the best position to win on track, but you need to, first of all, don't get any more penalties. You cannot afford another penalty. Do not get more than 3 seconds. With 3 seconds, you have got a chance. If there's no more safety cars, you've definitely got a chance. But 6 seconds, yeah, I don't think you can win that. I preset medium to hard, but it told us no. Oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe you've got the Ferrari mechanics and everything all involved. And the pit crew, yeah, definitely the Ferrari pit crew, the strategy team, everything is Ferrari. Not the current Ferrari, but maybe the Ferrari of about 2 years ago. Right, the bird is into... not the bird. The safety car, rather, is going to be in the pit this lap. And yes, we will get the telemetry up. Taking it nice and easy. 44 miles per hour, down to 40. And this is where the bird is going to try and pull clear, allowing the safety car to go. Still in there at 57, 58, up into 60 miles per hour now. And when will the bird begin to turn his battery on and pull away? 70 miles per hour. He is almost getting a little bit quicker as well. And now he's going. And now he's gone. He's taken a bit of a risk because he was in no battery, but he's got a flying getaway. And now the bird is into the lead here. What's happened? Oh, what happened? Oh no! Something crazy has happened. It's chaos. Chaos emerges. What happened? Deck's involved. And Russell Bolt has gained some place out of that. And all of a sudden, something big has occurred in the grid. Bolt and Wavner are going side by side. And Mr. Poem has a penalty. But look what has occurred. I can't really say who was at fault because it was so difficult to tell. They will definitely need a view on that. Lap 29 safety car restart. We will most certainly need to have a look at that, because that has caused a lot. Deck's dropped down the field where we kind of need to have a look at Deck, because he's on those fresh tyres, but he's not the favourite right now to win. And he has a look around the outside. Mr. Poem takes Drac into P3 and he's got Lynx ahead of him, but the bird all of a sudden has got a 2-second lead now. And Lynx Piece can defend that place, and here comes Deck. He's going to go down the outside of Frenchie. Frenchie attacks on the inside of the Aston Martin, but Deck under attack from Hazer now. Hazer on the old tyres decides to let Deck stay ahead actually. But look at the battle between Frenchie, and down the inside now goes Deck. Has he got the place done? He's still going side by side with Wavner. There are major gaps in this field though. Even Bolt down to Viking, and Bolt all of a sudden is in P5 and is in that second train. And around it outside goes Deck, and he does fly past. This time Wavner into the pit goes, possibly it is Viking Fox. So now Deck is up into P7 as a result of Viking pitting. And did Viking Fox get some damage on that safety car restart? You do envision that he must have done. They're going to go up the field and Lynx Piece to Mr. Poem. 1/10 between them, but 2 seconds between the bird and Lynx. Don't forget, Mr. Poem on fresh tyres, Drac on fresh tyres, Bolt on fresh tyres, and Lynx again parking the bus, absolutely parking the bus. Very similar to what he done a few laps earlier with Deck before the safety car restart. And he is going to go for the move out of turn 11 all the way up to turn 12. This will be a chance for Poem to fly past. He's got 2.8 seconds to gain now on the bird. Now what can Poem, Drac and Bolt do? Rusted Bolt. And now Bolt's going to be the one trying to charge through on Lynx. Is he going to have a look around the outside? He has a look on the inside of Drac. They do go side by side here. The development tier championship winner Destroyer Drac has a look on the inside of Rusted Bolt, but Bolt goes round the outside, and the elite tier championship leader Bolt is up to 4th place now. And all of a sudden next up is Lynx Piece, and that's 4th place on the podium. I know he's got penalties to serve, and Lynx Piece is going to do his utmost best to stop Rusted Bolt here. The question is, maybe, how is Lynx Piece going to play this here? He's going to try and back Rusted Bolt up as much as he can. And now Rusted Bolt will go through, will he? He's going to have a look on the inside, but I think he's going to go to the outside, and he does. Lynx Piece is going to try and defend it. He's going to go hot. He's probably going to run deep as well. Yes, he does. And that allows for Destroyer Drac to go through. And Drac now is up into P4. And Lynx Piece playing the ultimate team game, is he? And a big move being made between Bolt and Lynx. They are going side by side. And off track goes Lynx Piece. He has gone off. Rusted Bolt still behind. Running a bit wide as well. And there is Epic Frenchie. Frenchie's behind them. Epic Frenchie then It's coming through, and Frenchy has to look down the inside, and very close, nearly running into Bolt as well. Just avoiding him, and Russell Bolt losing so much time now. Mr. Poem is catching the bird, just 1.8 seconds between them. Bolt has to get through here, he has to, simply cannot afford not to, and he does go down the inside. Link's Piece cannot do anything about it, he has a look on the inside. A little bit of a move under braking actually, although it doesn't really impact Epic Frenchy. But in the end, Rusty Bolt is up to 4th place now. Epic Frenchy goes for the move down the inside on Link's Piece. That would have cost Link's a little bit of time, but Frenchy's certainly looking at it. Deck now has joined in this battle at half a second adrift as well. So can Deck play a part in this battle? He's going to hope he can. And not just hope he can, but he wants to make some moves here, as Epic Frenchy has another look at attacking Links. And what does that do for Deck? Let's open a door for him. Mr. Poem now just 1.5 seconds to the bird. It's looking good to close in on the kick Sauber. Although, he does have a penalty. But Link's Piece doing what he can to help his teammate the bird win the championship this season. So it's Links from Epic Frenchy, from Deck, from Warrener. It's interesting because I don't know if Link's Piece should be playing it this way. Should he not be trying to say, you know what, I want Epic Frenchy, I want Deck, I want Warrener to be there with Bolt, and then all of a sudden Russell Bolt has got a few drivers with him and will be battling with him. I do wonder if that could have been the best way to do it. Epic Frenchy there, I don't think he has played that very smartly at all. Links has allowed him through, but here comes Deck. Deck will get DRS. I believe Links might get DRS as well. And he does, but here comes Deck. He goes round the outside of 1. Will he go round the outside of 2? Yes, he does. Links tries to hold it down the inside of Deck. They do run side by side. Is it forcing Deck a little bit off? Possibly. But now Links still in P5. Deck unable to make the move stick here. And Link's Piece runs a little bit deep there, allowing Deck to have an opportunity. Deck will have a look down the inside. Here he goes. Through into the bends, and they are going to run side by side through a turn 16, 17, 18. Around the outside goes Deck, and Link's Piece just about hangs on. But Epic Frenchy's gone for the move down the inside of Links. Oh, it's a bit of contact. Links off track, and will Deck now get an opportunity that he needs to bypass both? They are going 3 wide into turn 1. Warrener behind them, turning in too soon was Deck. He runs a little bit into the Mercedes, but they are still going side by side. Deck with Links, and does Deck get the place finally? It looks like he may have done. Yes, he has, and Deck now is up into P6. A long time coming, that one, and finally Deck is up into 6th place. Link's Piece just missing out there. Warrener will be the next one trying to make a move here. Mr. Poem, meanwhile, we are gonna have a look at this battle for the lead. The Bird v Mr. Poem. And Mr. Poem will try and take the race lead for the first time this evening, whilst on, of course, the level on pit stops. And now Mr. Poem does go through down the inside. The Bird really wants to hang out there, which is an interesting strategy call from the Bird. If he keeps playing it like this, it could really prove detrimental for him. The Bird sending it down here to Mr. Poem. I don't know why he's doing this to Bird, because again, he's 1 penalty point away. It's a bit risky. If you make a mistake, all of a sudden you could lose your seat for next week, and you do not want to do that. But more importantly, the more you battle, it's going to bring Drac into it. Rusty Bolt, his main championship rival, is going to be closing the gap as well. For the Bird, it is not particularly smart to go strong on the battles here, because if you keep going strong on the battles, the Rusty Bolt will gain time, and he has to be the one that the Bird's looking at. The Bird cannot be looking towards other drivers, he has to look towards Bolt. Deck then, down the inside, and a bit of a move there between Deck and Frenchy. They are going to run side by side as they head into the S's, and it looks like Deck has just got his way through. Yes, he does. And Deck now into 5th place on those fresher hard tyres. Frenchy being on the fresher mediums, but he does drop the pace. Links and Warrener, then Bakey, then Hazer. And Hazer will be lucky that that safety car did come out, because it helped him save his race. Viking Fox, sadly, not the same way. Link's Piece with a penalty as well. But yeah, let's see then if the bird does continue to try and battle with Mr. Poem, and it looks like he is. This time he's going down the inside of Mr. Poem. It's just not particularly smart, these moves. I mean, his championship is going to go away. He's going to lose that championship by virtue of making these moves and bringing Rusted Bolt back into play. That is the complete opposite of what the bird needs to do. The bird actually needs to work with Mr. Poem, work with Destroyer Jack, end up winning the race, taking that 2-place penalty, going into next week in the best possible opportunity. But right now, he's not really doing that. And the more you battle with Mr. Poem, the more Drax's going to get right involved. A 3-way battle is what it could be, and Jack's burning that battery. Jack is burning that battery. He's going to go down the inside of the bird. Side by side into turn 1. Again, it will cost them a bit of time. Rusted Bolt will be getting into the battle, but they are going all out. The bird gets back through on Drac now. And the bird has a look on the inside of Mr. Poem. Now through into the S's. They go left, right again. Bolt is under 3 seconds behind now. And don't forget he's got fresher tyres than the bird. Jack rather, 3-second time penalty. The bird may very well be on to win this race without having a penalty, luckily. But that could be bad news even more for the bird. And look at the penalty situation. It is bad news for the bird because Bolt's also got 3 seconds, same as Drac. Poem has got 16 seconds. He ain't in this battle for the podium. And the bird's been trying to battle with a driver who's got 16 seconds of time penalties, which doesn't seem very smart to me. But either way, they're going to do it. And again, they are playing a battle once again. This time it's turn 12. I'm not sure why the bird is fighting it as hard as he is. It is very surprising to me, but either way, it is making for some great racing here. And Mr. Poem, the bird, Destroyer Jack, all within 1 second. Rusted Bolt is just 2.5 seconds behind now. And he is gaining time on this front 3. He is on for a podium at the moment, which means Rusted Bolt tonight would finish ahead of the bird, as the bird still has those 2 places to serve. Even if the bird wins, he will drop behind Rusted Bolt as things stand. That is how crucial this is. And now the bird down the inside of Mr. Poem. Destroyer Jack did pit during all of that. What tyre does he go for? We are just going to double check the tyre situation. He's on to a set of... He did pit for hard tyres. He's actually gone for hards. Destroyer Jack's apparently pitted for a set of hard tyres. I mean, they must be the older hard tyres that he had on before. But that's an interesting decision to pit. Did he try and change a potential front wing there? And either way, it's not worked for him. Rusted Bolt then is still gaining on this duo. And here comes Mr. Poem then. And he's going to go down the inside of the bird. Takes a defensive stance. The bird does not go round the outside here. But yeah, it's quite incredible though. The battles here and allowing Bolt to get back into play. Here we go again, the bird right behind Mr. Poem, but Rusted Bolt now 2.4 seconds back, 2.5 again. We're still gaining time. Again, he's on fresher tyres on the bird, of course he is. But from being out of the race effectively earlier on, in those early laps before the safety car, he was nowhere to be seen really, Rusted Bolt, and all of a sudden he is not far away. And if he keeps up with the levels of improvement here, the levels he's gaining at, he will catch up to Poem and the bird. And I think what Rusted Bolt wants is the bird to continue trying to battle hard with Mr. Poem. That continues to occur, and Bolt will catch up to them. And the bird needs to avoid a penalty as well. We don't know if the bird's got any warnings overhanging him. So if he does pick up a 30-second penalty, and all of a sudden it balances the field, especially between the bird and Rusted Bolt here. So the bird will possibly win this from this position, even though he's got the older hard tyres. Is he going to pit again? That remains to be seen. The bird now down the inside of Mr. Poem. They are going to go side by side. Looks like the bird has now got the position. Goes a little bit deep on the exit of turn 12 as well to 13. But the bird does stay ahead. And does that allow for Bolt to gain any time? It doesn't look like it. So on that occasion, Rusty Bolt did lose time. But Mr. Poem now chucking it down the inside on the bird. They are still going side by side. The bird back through. And that would have cost them time at 2.7 seconds to Bolt now, who is still gaining a little bit through Sector 3. As we head down into turns 19 and last of all turn 20, of course, kick-starting lap 38 of 56. It's still the bird and Poem at the front. The bird without a penalty, Poem with 16 seconds of penalties. And is the bird going to play this in a smart manner where he can still win? In the end, take P3 due to that two-phase penalty, and then going to next week in a strong position? Or is he going to get a penalty after the race and effectively lose the chance of racing next week? And if that happens, then all of a sudden that will give the championship to Rusty Bolt, providing, of course, Rusty Bolt were to finish that season finale. That's all he would need to do, pretty much. So, the bird and Poem. Here comes Mr. Poem. And you do wonder as well, could Rusty Bolt use the pace of Deck? Because look who has caught up to Bolt. We are going to go to that here, because Mr. Poem goes down the inside of the bird. You see Deck in the background overtaking Rusty Bolt. That will bring Rusty Bolt and Deck up the field. And now, Deck and Bolt can work together to try and catch this top two. I mean, Mr. Power with those 16 seconds of penalties, I'm not sure exactly what he's hoping for. I mean, he might be hoping that the 10 seconds does get successfully appealed, which it might happen. Depending on what exactly happened under that safety car, it might happen, it might not be successful. Obviously, again, it will be down to that safety car incident that happened between a lot of drivers. It was pretty chaotic on the exit of turn 20, really. So that safety car restart will certainly need looking into. But yeah, at the moment for Mr. Poem and the bird, a gap 0.4 of a second. Deck and Bolt 2.5 seconds back. They are gaining some time. Baker Gaming into the pits. Still only had one DNF from this race. Mark retiring earlier on to cause what was the only safety car thus far. Here we are on board again with the bird, but look at the gap to Deck, just 2 seconds now, and he is dragging along Rusted Bolt. And the penalty situation, 3 seconds for Deck, 3 seconds for Bolt. Still no penalties for the bird. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to see the bird, he's going to make a move here on Poem. Poem goes extremely defensive, trying to hang on to the pace. Are they going to go side by side? It looks like the bird has got the move done. It does go deep again, allows for Mr. Poem to draw alongside. And they are going to go side by side now. The bird with Poem on the outside, and now Poem will go for the move. Down his side goes Mr. Poem. And they are still running side by side. And they're still going at it. Deck is still going to gain time. Bolt is still going to gain time. And they are now going to get themselves within 2 seconds here. Bird knows what sort of position is he in. Is not in a favourable position here, and Mr. Poem is going for these moves here. He stays in behind at turn 1. He's not attacking the bird here, and he will just stay there. Deck remains P3, Bolt remains P4, and Deck at the moment will be happy with his pace, knowing he's got fresher tyres than the bird as well. The bird may very well be going all the way to the end here. But is he in a great position? I do wonder as well, could Lynx have played a part in that sort of safety car restart? Now thinking about it, now the fact that they're teammates, of course, possible. Again, I'm not going to make any form of like negative accusations or anything, because that wouldn't exactly be right. I haven't seen enough of a safety car restart. It's just a possibility that could have happened. Oh my goodness. As Jack does go through a Warner, as does Hazer. Sure, oh yeah, Warner's got damage, and that's probably the most likely reason why he allowed that to happen. Back up here towards Mr. Poem, making a move this time on the bird. Deck and Bolt continuing to gain time. is Mr. Poem leading the race. Then it's the Bird, then Deck, then Bolt. That's the top 4, but again, time penalties. Poem 16 seconds, 3 seconds for Deck, 3 seconds for Bolt. No penalties for the Bird. Well, I'm just going to quickly check. I know I normally wouldn't do it, but the Bird, I need to check. He has got 1 warning there. Has he got another warning for the Bird? How many warnings does he have in this race? And has he only got the 1? If he's only got the 1, he might be okay. And it looks like he has. From what I'm seeing here, he's not got another one. So he's got 1 warning in this race so far. 2 warnings. And then he will get a 3-second penalty. So he gets a bit of twitch there, the Bird. And that will allow for Mr. Poem possibly to gain a 1 second. You would expect Poem to be quicker than the Bird through the S's with those tyres. So the Bird here is going to be risking as Warner retires in the pit with that the wing damage. And actually, Mr. Poem not trying to put away, saving the battery. The Bird stays there, but Deck now is within a second. Rusted Bolt is within a second. It's a 4-way battle now, all of a sudden, between Mr. Poem, the Bird, Deck, and Rusted Bolt. Quite extraordinary here. And now here comes the Bird. Down inside on Mr. Poem, and he does get the move done. Does he go deep again? Yes, he does. Just continue to run a bit deep, you know, into turn 12. Bit of a surprise there. The Bird, for now, just staying ahead. Mr. Poem does not go for the move down the inside. The Bird takes an extremely defensive position as well. But he does stay in the 1. So still Bird, Poem, Deck, Bolt out in front. 4 seconds back to Epic Frenchie, so he's seemingly out of the running for a podium. It's the 4-way battle, and will Poem get that 10 seconds overturned? Remains to be seen. I do get the feeling he might appeal. Rusted Bolt is pitting. Well. What set of tyres is Bolt going to go for? He's going to go for a set of fresh, soft tyres. Is he going to try and force the Bird into a pit stop? And is he going to try and think it's an unnecessary pit stop? This could be risky. Link's Peace, don't forget, is still out on track. And we know Bolt will catch him. Let's get the gap to the leader on all of a sudden. We're going to keep on with the leaders. We know these 3 are battling, so we're going to try and stick with Poem, the Bird, and Deck. But that gap, that is not to the leader. That's to, there you go. That's to the leader. That's the penalty situation. Let's go away from that here. Stops the run. Actually, no, we don't even need that, do we? Here you go. Gap to the leader. Nothing else. And that is the situation. The Bird back through on Poem. We're going to keep watch of this because the gap to Rusted Bolt is what we're going to watch for. 19 seconds as Rusted Bolt was out of the pits. And now he is going to try and make inroads on that front 3. And the Bird now knows he's in a position where he has to try and push, as he does make a bit of a slide there. And are those mediums now dropping off on Mr. Poem? Could that have been why Rusted Bolt pitted? And what does the Bird do here? Does the Bird stay out or does he pit? No, he's staying out. So there you go. That's pretty much it for the Bird. And you do feel like he's not going to pit in this race unless it's a safety car. Rusted Bolt, in that lap, he's not really gained any time. In fact, if anything, I've lost a bit. Epic Frenchie's pitting. So Epic Frenchie's following Bolt in. And he's going to go for soft tyres. He's going to lose those positions as well. So we just watch him here into the pits. Bolt is now beginning to catch up a little bit. And let's go on with Rusted Bolt because it's going to go down the inside on Hazer. Into turn 1. And Bolt is up into the top 6 now. He does get through. But look who is ahead of Rusted Bolt. It's Link's Peace. And we know Link's Peace is going to want to try and hold him up here. Drac also ahead is on some decent tyres compared to Link's. He's going to try and pull clear. The Bird, Poem and Deck still together. Yellow flags. Bakey Gaming. But there is no damages. So the safety car will not come out for that. Deck gets through on Mr. Poem now. He does make the move and up into P2. Poem drops back to 3rd. We're going to go back on here with Rusted Bolt. Does Lynx get DRS? Yes, he does. But here comes Bolt. And also Lynx, they're all going to try and attack each other here. Lynx to the inside and Bolt to the outside, side by side. Lynx breaks later and he does hang on to the position now. He knows he's going to try and hold up Bolt. I'm not sure if this is too slow. Is it too slow? Possibly. I mean, Bolt is going to go down the inside. He's got the place done. Lynx goes off track. It seems okay. To be fair, I don't think Bolt forced him off track. I think Lynx pretty much went off track by himself. And Bolt now up into 5th place. On those soft tyres, he will be absolutely flying. The question will be, can he gain the required time to catch back up to that front three? He's got DRS on Destroyer track. Within 1 second as well. Looking at the race leaders here, the Bird, Deck and Poem just dropping back now. You see the Deck here all over the Bird. Must be thinking to himself, I'm quicker than you at this moment. Is he quicker? That's going to be the question. He's going to have the better tyres. We are going to move away and have a look towards Bolt again in a moment's time, because he will be attacking Destroyer Drag. But here comes Deck this time, and Deck will go for the move on the Bird. He's back up into P1. The Bird drops the place. What about Poem? He's too far behind. And now it's Deck from Bird from Poem. Back towards Bolt then. And he does get DRS. He's surely going to get the place here from Destroyer Drag, and he will get the place from Destroyer Drag. And he's now into 4th place. So Rusted Bolt, a step for him now. He is in 4th position. You don't think he can get any lower than that. He might be able to push for a fast lap as well. And now, can Rusted Bolt gain the required time he needs on that top 3? That is what he needs to do. On with the front 3 again. Deck, the Bird and Poem. And Deck is beginning, just for a moment, to pull a bit of a gap to the Bird. This is not what the Bird needs, don't forget. And are his tyres wearing out now? He does not want to lose DRS to Deck. If he loses... Oh, Deck's got another 3 seconds. Deck has got 6 in total now. And that now does bring the Bird into a strong position. Epic Frenchie 34.3 for the fast lap of the race in the Mercedes. But Rusted Bolt is going to try and steal that away from the Mercedes now. So Deck now needs to push. He has to push. He has no choice. If he doesn't push, he's definitely not getting a win from this race. He needs to try and pull clear from this man, the Bird, who has a full tank of battery just to stay with Declan. But he won't be able to get close enough to go for the move, or will he? No, he stays behind here. Poem also stays in P3. Rusted Bolt continues to close the gap, as does Destroyer Jack as well, who's trying to follow the Williams through. But Bolt's tyres are superior to anybody in that front sort of 6. And therefore Rusted Bolt will close the gap. But will he close the gap to get to them? That's the question. He is going to continue to close the gap. It's just about whether or not he can reach that top 3. Don't forget, Rusted Bolt, the championship leader heading into tonight's race, just 2 points ahead of the Bird. That's why it's so significant, the battle between Rusted Bolt and the Bird. And why Lynx Peace was trying to hold the likes of Rusted Bolt up is to favour his teammate in this race. Going to continue here, but Rusted Bolt is really gaining quite quickly actually. 14 seconds behind, and don't forget this front 3, they're going to be dropping off on their tyres very, very quickly. Mediums and hards, they're not going to be feeling nice. Much older tyres. Let's look at the tyre situations right now. 19, 27, 19, 4. And yeah, I mean... Wow, the Bird has got 23 laps older tyres, and it's hard versus Bolt, who's on softs. Has Rusted Bolt got an outside chance of maybe not winning the race, but they could win the race though. Again, don't forget the Bird has got that 2-place penalty to serve in this Grand Prix, which would mean if Rusted Bolt were to finish ahead of Poem and Deck, Bolt would effectively win tonight. Oh, there's a bit of a slide there from the Bird. He does not want Bolt to catch this group. Absolutely not. But it's going to be a major struggle for this top 3 to stop Bolt and even Drac possibly, but Drac's not in a great position. Epic Frenchy could be in a half decent position, but the one who's definitely in a great position has to be Rusted Bolt. That gap now, 12.7 seconds. He's surely going to catch. And does that make any of these 3? If there's no more safety cars, which we've only had 1 to be fair, but let's say there's no safety cars from now to the end, does this whole front 3 stay out and risk it? Or do they pit for softs, which is also a risk? It's a risk either way, unfortunately. So we are just going to stick with this trio here. And also, what's the fastest lap at the moment? So Epic Frenchy's still got the fast lap, 34.3. So at least for like Lynx, for example, he does not need to try and take the fast lap away from Frenchy. But the gap to Rusted Bolt is just over 12 seconds, and that's to the race leader. We're going to go back away. Actually, no, we want that, but we're going to go from that. Oh, what's that? Deck spun. Deck has spun. Was there any contact with either the bird or Mr. Poem? I wonder. And he's going to lose the place here to Rusted Bolt as well. He's got damage. But Deck is down to P5. Bolt is onto the podium. Mr. Poem's got that time penalty. And all of a sudden, Rusted Bolt could very well be looking at a potential race win. And yes, you might be thinking, how? The bird's not got a penalty. Again, the bird will have to serve a 2-place grid penalty at the end. Right now, he would drop behind Rusted Bolt anyway. But Rusted Bolt could still beat Mr. Poem, as Mr. Poem has 16 seconds of penalties. Bolt has 3 seconds. So Bolt right now would win this race, and that's just right now. Deck's out of the race in the pits. So Deck's not going to be in a competition for the win. Mr. Poem has overtaken the bird then. As the bird going for the move down the inside. It's incredibly risky. But the bird's made a mistake. That's a costly error for the bird. A costly mistake. Is that a championship ending mistake for the bird? It's a massive blunder for the Kick Sauber. He has 2.5 seconds to the Mr. Poem. Rusted Bolt now will gain a lot of time. Oh my gosh. But the bird, what a mistake that was from him. Oh my goodness. And is that a championship fading away from the Kick Sauber? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. For the bird. That could be massive. 2.2 seconds now. Bolt still 10 seconds to Mr. Poem. And that's to Mr. Poem. That's not to the bird. He is now going to be gaining time. Not just on Poem, but on the bird. But now those two do not have DRS to work together with. I'll say work together. They were battling quite a lot, I admit. The bird's going to have to push on here. He really does. He knows he will drop behind Bolt right now. He knows that. But right now, he also knows Rusted Bolt is going to win this race. Which is quite extraordinary, given the events we've seen tonight, where Rusted Bolt, lap 1, turn 1, had something occur, had some form of spin, and was last position. He's barely been in the top 5 in this race, really, up until the safety car, when he sort of picked it up, got himself into 5th place eventually, out of nowhere again. He's sort of got positions out of nowhere, and he's going to win out of nowhere at this rate. It's quite astounding how Rusted Bolt is in this position, but he's in this position, and that could be a championship winning position for Rusted Bolt. The gap between himself and the bird going into the race was just 2 points, with Rusted Bolt leading, the bird in P2. Yeah, certainly looking very close between these two for that championship, but also for Mr. Poem. That gap to the bird is falling. It's 1.4 seconds at this moment in time. So it's not like the gap is increasing, it's certainly not, but the gap to Bolt is decreasing. But Bolt right now, you feel like those soft tyres are probably just wearing off now for him. Poem to Bird, 1.3. Bolt, about 7 seconds to the Bird. Is he in a position to win from here? That's the question, really. Has to be the question. The Bird is now catching up to Mr. Poem as well. Mr. Poem knows he needs to try and push on as much as he can to try and avoid that 16 seconds harming him too much. He'll know that though. He'll know what position he's in. As you can see with Drac 10 seconds back, Ventry 15, Lynx 21. Big gaps further back, but it's just his top 2 / top 3. Drac also is gaining some time. He's within 10 seconds of Mr. Poem now. That's the Bird there, just again a little bit of oversteer. Just pushing on out of turn 11. He will get DRS now. So will he go for the overtake on Mr. Poem, or will he stay behind and just say, you know what, I'm going to take and accept that dose of DRS? He has a look on the inside there. He knows he's too far back. It's Baker Gaming with a 3-second time penalty as well. This battle for the Bird. Can he get the on-track win? I mean, he seems like he's in a good position now. I don't think Rusted Bolt's gaining enough time to get the victory. Sadly then, but Mr. Poem does defend well from the Bird. Just there, the Bird having a look on the inside. Hayes, a 3-second penalty. And a P7 not having an ideal race, is he? It looks like they're all just hanging out, hoping there's going to be some sort of late safety car. It's Mr. Poem. The Bird still having looks down the inside, down the outside. Just going to try and avoid going wide. He does not want that 3-second penalty. If he gets a 3 seconds and Bolt all of a sudden catches up, Bolt's got a chance. The Bird sends it down the inside on Mr. Poem. Surely only going to cost them time. A bit of contact between them. There is contact. The Bird drifting into Mr. Poem, it seems. Ever so slight. The Bird now has the outside line and now goes to the inside. It's a bit of a late move from the Bird. Does he give enough space? Yes, he does. Very, very tight racing between these two though. And all it's doing is allowing Rusted Bolt to get closer. And look how much closer he's getting now. The Bird now flying around the outside. Not quite there, still on the inside. It gets a bit of a snap as well. Still attacking Mr. Poem. There's a bit of contact between them again. It looked like there was. What's happened to Poem? Poem's off! Poem's off! And that how big of an incident is that? Again, we have to go back to it. The Bird, 1 penalty point away from a 2-race ban, and that would cost him effectively a chance to win the championship next week. It was an incident that could have been worth that penalty point. Remains to be seen, but it's an incident. It is an incident. That is going to be one to watch. Rusted Bolt then, 6 seconds behind the Bird, gaining on Mr. Poem as well. Still on no softs, they won't be feeling great here. But yes, there was certainly an incident between Mr. Poem and the Bird on lap 51. That could be pivotal. That really could. Here we are on board with Rusted Bolt. To show Jack also has been gaining a little bit of time on Bolt. To be fair to Jack, he's been doing pretty well in that department. As you can see, the Aston Martin there in the rear. But Rusted Bolt trying to get himself within 6 seconds of the Bird. Now he is within 6 seconds of the Bird. Look how much time he's gained there. Look how much time he's been gaining. What's happened to the Bird? Why is that gap to the leader falling as... It's falling down so quickly. What's happened here to the Bird? What? Has he got a puncture? Is there a puncture? What's happened to the Bird? The Bird's lost a place to Poem. Is there a puncture for the Bird? What's happened to him? He's allowed Poem back through. I'm not sure if he's done that just to try and give a place back. He's dropped back behind Poem here. And Poem has got the lead back. And all of a sudden, Rusted Bolt is right behind this battle. And the bird now, round the outside of Mr. Poem, he does get back through. Back up into P1. We've got 4 laps of racing to go. And all of a sudden, Rusted Bolt is within DRS range for a race win. I think the bird just dropped back there. I thought for a second, did he have either a puncture, did he have a... running out of fuel, which would have been quite remarkable. I mean, how would you run out of fuel when there's been a safety car as well, as Mr. Poem runs a little bit off track there. But for the bird, yeah, I do think he just let Mr. Poem back through. He obviously slowed down, reduced that speed. But how much will that cost him? Because Mr. Poem has a look around the outside. He's going to try some switchback. Again, the bird runs as deep as he can to turn 12 and does stay ahead. He looks up a little bit as well. Poem's still there. Bolt on the greater tyres, don't forget. And Poem, down the inside he goes. Into the hairpin. Down at turn 15. He does get the place. The bird, a little bit twitchy. Bolt now sees his championship rival directly ahead of him. What on earth is happening here? Rusted Bolt must be thinking, wow, what a position I'm in. I don't know if he knows the bird has a 2-place penalty to serve. I do just wonder that. But the bird now, as we start the 3rd last lap of the race, the bird goes down the inside on Mr. Poem. They are going to run in side by side. Poem has got back through where the bird followed. Rusted Bolt then. As things stands, he will win. But can he overtake the bird on track? Maybe just give a careful reminder to Kick Sauber. He has got a serious challenge for that title. May well occur that way between Poem, Bird and Bolt and Drac. Drac's there as well now. It's not just a 3-way, it's a 4-way battle for the win. I mean, for the win, okay. To cross the line first. We know the Bird's going to get the win based on not having penalties. We understand that, but again, he has 2 places to serve. But who's going to cross the line first? The Bird just stays ahead of Poem there, as Rusted Bolt really does want to follow through. Not in a bad way, he does not want to follow through in a really bad way, that's for sure. He wants to follow through in a good way, but he wants to follow through by overtaking the Bird and Mr. Poem. His biggest risk could be actually losing a spot to Drac. He does not want to lose a place for the Aston Martin here. As we continue this battle with what will be just 2 laps of racing to go, we head onto the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. Bird, Poem, Bolt, Drac. Here comes Rusted Bolt. He's going to attack Mr. Poem, is he? No, the Bird defends. Poem will try around the outside. Bolt will take an inside line as well. What happens between them? Bird drifts off wider, and now Poem has to stay in behind. It is a 4-way battle to cross the line first. And what an almighty battle this will be. Look at that view. 4 cars. Kick Sauber, Alpine, Williams and Aston Martin. Who will come out on top? Who will cross the line first? That's going to be the important question again. It's not about who necessarily wins, because we know the Bird will win without penalties, but we also know that the race win will go to either Rusted Bolt or Destroyer Drac, based on the fact they do not have penalties after the race to serve. We know the Bird still has 2 places. So based on that, the race win will go to either Bolt or Drac, as Mr. Poem has too many time penalties. We're just going to double check the penalty situation of that. As you can see, 3 seconds each. So there you go. The battle is on between Bolt and Drac. That is your battle for the win, effectively. Then the question is, who will get it? Bolt has a look on the inside of Mr. Poem. He needs to defend from Drac. That's his main rival right now. His main competition is Destroyer Drac. Not Mr. Poem, not even the Bird, because the Bird's penalty situation is okay for Rusted Bolt right now. So we are going to head onto the final lap showdown here at the USA, the penultimate race of the season, the final lap of the Grand Prix, round 14 or 15. The Bird from Poem, from Bolt, from Drag, and Bolt has a look down the inside of Mr. Poem. Has he got the move done? They are still running side by side, but it looks like Bolt has made a little bit of an adjustment error, and Poem goes through, but does he know? Poem drops behind, Bolt is up into P2. And Bolt finds his way through on Mr. Poem, and now Rusted Bolt, is he in the prime position to win by crossing the line first, and then obviously the penalty situation will allow for Bird to win, but Bolt will retake the win. Here we go, we head into turn 11. We are into sector 2 as well. There is still a big chance here for Bolt to cross the line first. He will burn that battery all the way into turn 12. It's Bolt, and he will attack round the outside. The Bird on the inside. Who will break later? They go in side by side, but the Bird breaks later, and he does hold on to P1. Bolt will stay in P2 from Poem and Drac. Drac's still in P4, but the Bird looks like he's going to cross the line first. It will mean nothing for a race win, but it will mean he will only drop 2 places to P3, and that is the best position for him. On the last lap of the race as well, we have lost sound. Unbelievable that's occurred on the final lap of the race. But here we go. For the last time, out of turn 20, to the line, the Bird will win. But Rusted Bolt will take it off him, because that 2-place grid penalty means that Rusted Bolt wins the United States Grand Prix. Destroyer Jack will effectively take second place. The Bird's left. The Bird will not score points. The Bird will not score points. He's left the session. As a result, it's a rule. It's a rule. It happened to Mano in a race, I think, recently. Not too long ago this season. Was it Mano? In Tier 1 at Brazil, possibly. I'm pretty sure it was Mano at Brazil. And he did not get points for that result. Hayes has had it before. Hayes has been in a similar situation. The Bird will not score points. Unreal. The Bird will not score points because he has left the session early. Rusted Bolt gets the win. Unreal. And the Bird, I feel like, has just cost himself there. He will not score points for that. It's a rule. It's a rule that Mano was unfortunate not to pick up points in the Tier 1 race. I will literally tell you which Tier 1 race that was as well. That was round 9 Brazil. In the Tier 1 race results, it does say Mano P5, but left lobby, so won't receive points. And Mano did not receive points. I can confirm that. And the same situation will happen to the Bird. The Bird is not going to score points because of that. And the Bird's championship is done. You've got... I mean, from this position, he will need a miracle. Oh, now all of a sudden we get game sound. But the Bird leaving, and now Rusted Bolt will get 1, a race win, and 2, which could be even better, Rusted Bolt with the race win, and now the Bird gets no points. That gap is going to be pretty much humongous heading into the final round. Lost sound 5 laps from the end. Could have tried to go for the win. Had to take it easy from there. Yeah, fair enough. I actually lost sound literally on the last lap. And all of a sudden, guess what? We got game sound. How that works, I don't know. But yeah. Again, I reiterate the situation. The Bird will not score points because he left the session before the results. And that's been in place for quite a while actually now. Mano again, we go back to it. Brazil, Tier 1, round 9. Mano did not score points based on him not finishing, well, not staying in the lobby effectively. So for the Bird, sadly, that is going to be 0 points for him. Obviously didn't get a pole position, didn't get a fastest lap, so he's not going to score any points at all. And not scoring points means Bolt will get the win. That's 35 points straight away for Rusted Bolt. That means a championship gap, providing Bolt does not get any penalties. And also, oh yeah, one other thing then. So the gap will be 37 points if Bolt holds on to the win, which you presume he will, but you can't guarantee. 37 points, but then the bird will still need to serve that 2-place penalty next week. Wow. So he can't even take 70 points. He can't take 60 points. The most points now that the bird can take in the final round of a season would be 56 points. You get 54 if you get P3, which is the best now he can do. And then you get fast up and pole position. That'll be 56 points. That is the best the bird can do. So now we can actually add this into this. Let's say, so there's 56 points between them. What was I saying earlier about the battle? So I was saying that the gap would be 37 points, right? That means all Rusty Bolt needs to do in the final round of a season is score 20 points, which is the equivalent, I believe, possibly to a P11. Is it P11? I don't know if somebody can confirm that. Do you get 10 points normally for P11? If you do, then all Bolt needs to do is get a P11. It might be a top 10 finish. I will just double check. Let me check the points system. I know it's either P10 or P11. It's very close between those two. So it is... That's different. That's this one I want to see. P11, you get 10 points. So yeah, P11 next week will be 20 points. Rusted Bolt in the season finale needs to finish P11 or better. That will guarantee him a title if the results are assured that Bolt wins the race tonight. He will need P11 or better next week. I'm afraid for the bird, that could very well be the championship over for him. That is absolutely massive. But P11 or better at the moment is a situation where Rusted Bolt would win the championship. But anyways, for tonight, that is the race over, and again, that'll be bitterly disappointing for the Birds' championship hopes. They are absolutely fading away now, and Rusted Bolt is in prime position, having taken an effective win, and just needing a top 11 finish at the moment, based on the race results from tonight. And that is all for the 100% tier. We have been UFRL. I've been UFRL F1 Viva. Thank you for watching, and good night.